Greetings, citizens of the world. We are anonymous. What is becoming of Canada and Canadians? News headlines read, Trudeau says, that Canada has no culture. Since Mr. Trudeau was elected, it seems that Canada has plunged downhill, rapidly. Elected on one of the promises of legalizing marijuana, just enough people that believed in this legal lies was enough people to have Trudeau elected. It is 2017 and not one of Trudeau's promises has come through. Canadians have received a load of new taxes along with new laws that compromised mostly on freedom of speech, monitoring social media and belittled our cultures. Talks about trying to change our Canadian flag, also rewrite our national anthem, because it offends some specific people? The very soul of what our veterans fought for, our rights and freedom. Yes, free speech is the new hate speech to those who don't agree with it. Let's have a raw look at Mr. Trudeau's accomplishments as Prime Minister of Canada. The legalization of marijuana, that went south, as bestiality became priority. Many weren't aware of this. One of Mr. Trudeau's many missions, was to legalize various acts of bestiality. Getting back to marijuana. We can only imagine that it will be used as a tool for the next election. In Toronto in 2016, shortly after Trudeau came into office as our Canada's Prime Minister, instead of the legalization of marijuana, the Toronto's Mayor Tory and Premier Kathleen Wynne, legally attacked and raided all new businesses that opened to sell marijuana for medical uses. The raids were planned and backed by Wynne and Tory. Fine and jailed the so-called criminals, closing down their shops. Perhaps they jumped the gun, starting their businesses before it was legalized. But why, if it was to be legalized anyway? All the people that do use marijuana, for quality of life, for medical purposes. It has helped children with epilepsy to our grandmothers who put marijuana in their tea, so they can make it through the day with the illness they have. Trudeau's promised, legalize aka, legal, lies. Like a cash cow for our local governments to arrest these individuals that were merely offering a healthy alternative to achieving a quality of life. All people that attended those shops are medically in need, from their doctors. Many questions Mr. Trudeau avoid. Trudeau bash Canadians in many interviews. Canadians have no culture. We as Canadians are loving and caring, sharing and really want everyone to be well. Truly, if you speak to any of us, Canucks, we are positive, you will hear only good intentions for all. Why are we upset with newcomers, flocking to Canada? Some have families, children, of course we want all to be and feel safe. The only thing we had hoped for is for them to respect our laws and cultures. If the table were turned, and we were sent to an Eastern world country, where wars prevail with terrorists, would we not have to follow their cultures? Never did Canadians expect the arrival of thousands of newcomers a day, and we feel like we have been blindsided by Trudeau, as the newcomers have arrived, with hostility and pain from their home countries. Why are we changing our Canadian laws and cultures to appease the newcomers? Why is it okay for a newcomer, a 54-year-old male, to attend a pool in Edmonton, Alberta, and molest a few teenage girls, all under the age of 16, because he felt it was okay to do this, as these young girls, in their bathing suits at a public pool in Canada, were not covered up? Yes, it got swept under the rug, as the media, such as CBC and CTV, are not promoting this on their news channels. This 54-year-old male's culture states if you are a female and not covered up, then you are, how do we say, a prostitute, a female with no values? These are your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and sisters, marked for life, because this man is ignorant to the laws in Canada. If this had happened to any Canadian, male, that has grown their entire lives in Canada, as well some have immigrated to Canada but know the laws of Canada, they would be in jail. What is being done about it? Nothing. Shall we go on? Can you handle more? Well, you must. It is time you are to be aware of the circumstances since Trudeau has taken the reins of Canada. One of Trudeau's agenda was to promote sexual preferences, schools' toilets, and pride. This came as a slap to 85% of Canadians aware of this, did not think it was a good idea, nor did they understand why this was of importance. A police officer in Toronto, Ontario, married a 9-year-old child. Was this law pushed through without you knowing? Was this law pushed forward to accommodate newcomers? It seems to be a coincidence that these laws are put in place as soon as Trudeau becomes Canadian Prime Minister. Does he feel he is doing a good thing for Canada? Please go on about fake news, turn on CBC, CTV, CNN, MSN, and Fox News to name a few national news stations. Why are they not bringing us the truth? Sadly, you do not hear any of the stories out of Canada. Well, we have turned to YouTube as one, Patreon as another. You will find real news there and less chances of being censored. We are not done waking you up. Many Canadians feel the drama, but this was just the start of a chain of events that will shock the foundation of all Canadians. As we stated earlier, Canadians love to help others, love to see others happy, and love to have good fun. The change in Canada has begun. Our cultures, our beliefs, and our way of life, right down to schools, have been questioned and changed. Trudeau has banned most of our heritage and culture out of all public places. He has banned religion out of public schools to replace it with newcomers' beliefs. The pressures of gender equality in schools and kindergartens are also under the spotlight. The public does not have the same views on who should teach sexual education in the classrooms. Why's the government's big interest in all this sexual worry? Should these not be the views of the parents, the families in general, that decide what should or should not be taught to our children? This is the Liberal agenda? What if you choose to voice your opinions against the Canadian governments in question, on a social media format? Trudeau will now prosecute you. Voicing your thoughts publicly on the internet will get you prosecuted and banned from various platforms, whether it be for a period of time or permanently. If you say too much, if you have too many concerns, Big Brother is watching you. What is the big deal? Well, what happened to freedom of speech? This is 2017, fellow Canadians. Please let your thoughts be told. Think about this. This is the same freedom our grandfathers fought for us in the 40s. This same freedom is now being controlled by Trudeau. As more help is given to newcomers, more injustice is going on with our tax money. Canada is helping other countries with their economy as Canadians are ending up homeless over the high prices of food, gasoline, oil, hydro. Every level of life has been affected by the increases in life necessities. Food banks cannot keep up, people are going hungry and prices are rising. You go for a drive to your city of choice, Vancouver, Halifax, Toronto, and even the smaller cities, Barrie, Ontario, you will witness homeless people. We, as Anonymous, get requests for help every single day for someone else. Another family is homeless, cannot keep up with the rent, the bills, and forget food. The lower class are hanging on for their dear lives, while raising children. Sadly, a large amount of children do go to school hungry. The parents cannot feed their children a healthy breakfast on their way to the classroom. We offer phone numbers for assistance in helping with bills, we offer phone numbers for shelters, we offer our hearts. As we understand, some of us Anonymous have been there too, we have even offered our home to some. Please help. Do you see what we see? Welcome to Canada, where homeless is becoming the new lifestyle for Canadians, but you can strike it rich if you are a newcomer. Our veterans, suffering PTSD, living on the streets of our cities, go overlooked by our government. No care given to the ones that have fought for our freedom. Sure, we celebrate on Remembrance Day, November 11th, but only one day. Oh, but my fellow Canadians, we are so not done expressing our thoughts today. Many more people join the homeless, and not by choices. More new Syrian coming, just walking from US to Canada with no screening done. A lot are young males, not family but loners. News today, wife beaten up with a hockey stick, the husband thought it was legal in Canada to discipline your wife. Many other cases involve kids getting raped while the aggressor plays the victims and walks free. Why as Canadians are we accepting this nonsense? We came across some YouTube sites this past week. The titles of these sites on YouTube are Spider-Man and Elsa. For most children, they would type in a search on YouTube in hopes to find their favorite cartoon characters. In the midst of freedom of speech being squashed in the Western world, we note that both the above stated names are promoting pedophiles in Canada. Why are we tolerating this? The government may be worried that we are promoting the truth about what really goes on in Ottawa, bans us from freedom of speech, but absolutely nothing gets done to take these sites down. Canadians have so many questions for the Prime Minister here in 2017. Sadly, Mr. Trudeau is far too busy for the peasants that we are, traveling around the world on our tax dollars, to have time for us the little people with mundane questions. Canadians just got the news that this was just passed. If your child or children, age 6 or older, have a gender preference, if your Sally wants to be Sammy, you must promote this on your child. If you choose to allow your child to grow in a healthy environment, you should permit at this young age the choice your child has made to change gender. If you do not, your child could be removed from your home, from your love, from your upbringing, from your customs, by Children's Aid Society or Child Protection Services. What happens to your child then? The door is wide open for your child to hit the system, to walk the road of the legal human trafficking in Canada. Disturbing, eh? We obviously do not know for sure what road your child will take upon being removed from your love, but chances are group homes, broken foster families, perhaps. There are awesome foster families in Canada, but when you are the actual parent, what gives COT or CPS to decide what is best for your child, based on the child's decision to be a different gender? Do not get us wrong here, we are definitely not professionals for all of this. We accept humans from all walks of life, from all genders, from all places in space, and we have no problem with gender change, but why would the government step in to decide what is best for your child? Is our government too much in sex, bestiality, and pedophilia instead of working on our economy? Oh, did we say economy? Hope this doesn't offend Mr. Trudeau. Donating our taxes to other countries, helping in their wars, aka genocide on the very same refugees that we are letting into Canada. This is wrong, Mr. Trudeau. We ask, are you doing this to secure the 2019 election? Our question to Mr. Trudeau is, why do you despise Canadians so much? Terrorists have more feelings than us little people? On the news this week, Mr. Trudeau worked a $10,500,000 to a person that killed one of our troops. This has been a huge deal in the media this week in Canada, and perhaps around the world. Killing American Delta Force soldier Sergeant Christopher Spear, leaving a widow with children, the Spear children, leaving them fatherless. Also, wounded another U.S. soldier blinded for life, with one hand grenade. Under the Canadian Charter of Rights states, never to do dealings with terrorists. If this is the case, Mr. Trudeau, this is called treason. You are making a mockery of all Canadians. Trudeau gave a large amount of our tax money to a terrorist, and that is how we see it, just us, the little people here in Canada. Even with the majority in Ottawa completely against your idea, Mr. Trudeau, you continued ahead with your personal agenda and paid $10.5 million of our tax monies to a terrorist? Your generosity is against most of us Canadians. As we prepare this video for you, headlines on Real News out of Canada states, Trudeau's government generously gave a donation in the amount of $241.5 million to the Clinton Foundation straight out of Canadians' taxes. It seems like Trudeau is sitting in a baby's crib, bonnet a pacifier, hanging from his bib, full of our taxpayers' money. Trudeau rethinks his meeting he had with Trump and decides, Trump refused to work with me on climate change and other issues, so I will show that Trump. I will share Canadians' taxes with the Clinton Foundation. Na 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 boo boo. Is Trudeau just a big baby having a temper tantrum when things do not quite go the way he wants them to? You are a great drama teacher, Trudeau. We Canadians are living and watching this firsthand. We have so many questions, with no answers. Perhaps you, as the citizens of Canada, the mere taxpayers that we all are, can offer some advice or feedback. You are aware we pay the politicians and we make sure Mr. Trudeau can hire 3 nannies and travel aimlessly around the world, with his wife Sophie, to their dream vacation destinations. Please share and comment below. Feel free to offer your advice, your comments, your concerns. Thank you for listening, and yes, Mr. Trudeau, we the people are pissed off. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.